Good evening and welcome to Sundays with Neelu. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for all your story responses, my prayers and best wishes to everyone. Coming to this week's story. This week's story's title is The Peach Tree and the Earthworm. So once there was a farmer who sowed seeds of a peach tree and the peach tree started to grow. Underneath this peach tree there lived a big earthworm and the earthworm's name is a night crawler. So this night crawler kept digging tunnels under the tree and it made the soil more porous and airy and the roots of the peach tree started to grow. And we all know earthworms are very, very healthy for the soil. They make the soil more fertile. So the tree kept growing and it grew into from a sapling to a small tree to a bigger tree. So as it kept growing, it kept shedding leaves, yeah, in the winter. And those leaves, the earthworm used to eat those leaves. And again, through the earthworm's castings. So we all know that earthworms, waste is used as manure. Yeah, it becomes natural manure. So that worked as a fertilizer for the tree, and the tree kept growing. So this went on, and the earthworm came out in the nights. The night crawler came out. It ate some leaves. It went back, and sometimes, the peach tree would, bloom in the spring season, and it would produce fruits, and some fruits which would fall off. The earthworm would eat all the leaves and everything, and it would again go inside the soil and dig tunnels. So, and peach tree started growing. So there came a point the tree became bigger. So as it became bigger, it needed more space to grow its roots. So it started growing bigger roots, and that blocked all the tunnels inside, which have been dug by the nightcrawler, the earthworm. So it so happened that the nightcrawler didn't find any space there. So it had to dig new tunnels. So it was like a very tedious process, and the earthworm didn't like it at all because it's not it's not its job to keep on digging tunnels. But it was too much of hard work for the lazy night crawler. So, but it resented this, and but it had to survive. It had to come out, eat those leaves which are shed by the peach tree, and then again crawl back because it was easy. It was living under that tree. It didn't have to go elsewhere. And earthworm, the slow creatures, we all know that. So, this sort of forced the earthworm to dig more and more tunnels, and this helped the peach tree grow. And it, though it didn't like shedding the leaves, no, the peach tree would be very quiet during the winters, but it had to shed leaves. If not, it wouldn't grow new leaves, and new leaves means growth. So finally the peach tree also, resented this, but it started shedding the leaves, and in spring it would bloom again. So this process went on forever and ever. So this sort of helped both of them to grow. So there was resentment from both the ends while growing, but both of them had to help each other to grow. And thus the peach tree became huge, and it produced so many fruits, lovely juicy fruits. And the night crawler, lived happily under the shade of this tree inside the soil, came out in the night and ate the leaves, shed by the peach tree. And the farmer rejoiced, with the crop which he carried, sold them, and lived happily ever after. So this is a very, very short story, but I loved the story and the message in it. So for me, the message is, many times we resent growth. Many times we don't like, doing the hard work. We don't want to toil like the night crawler. But it is imperative, sometimes nature pushes us uh, to work harder. Yeah. So where there are roads which are closed, yeah, we need to dig more tunnels, find more ways of growing. Many times this happens to many of us. Yeah, some people may not like us, and then we resent it, but actually they're helping us to grow. Yeah, sometimes we may resent, we don't want to study, but when we study, we are growing. Yeah, so many things like this. So while reading this story, I remembered I was a science student, like in my 12th, and we had this lab, labs during the course. So we had to go to the zoology lab and zoology lab, and we had to dissect the earthworms. So the moment I saw this, I remembered, the earthworm's reproductive system, which we had to show by dissecting the earthworm. And I used to be so scared, but my zoology teacher was so strict that she was an elderly lady, and she would sit right there under her nose. We had to do this, earthworm dissection. So I had done many dissections at that time, and slowly I figured that it's a very beautiful process. Yeah, to see, cut an animal and see, what is there inside, and learn, and in future save them. So also, I remember once we were brought a frog. We all biology students know that they're supposed to dissect a frog. So while dissecting the frog, they put the frogs in chloroform, so that when you remove it, science students do these experiments where they need to practically cut the frog and show the reproductive system as a part of the experiment. So one such day, I dissected the frog, and before I just didn't do anything. I just put the frog. The lab assistant used to put the frogs on the tables, and we used to sit on the desks. And then the teacher would ask us to do it, and we would start the dissection. So when the frog was there, I was peacefully sitting and waiting for my turn, and then suddenly the frog jumped. And how I jumped from the chair, I still remember. I was so scared because the animal was live, and it did, the chloroform didn't affect the frog. So this is one such instance which I remember from my college days. And yes, these animals are very, very, to study these animals is very important for science students, so that they can understand them and save them further. So thank you so much for your patience, and I hope you loved this story. I loved it. Please leave it in the comment section. Please leave your responses so that I know what you like and what you have picked up from this story. Thank you. Have a wonderful week ahead. I'll see you again next Sunday, only on Sundays with Neelu. Till then, stay well, stay happy. Like the night crawler, find ways of coming out of your problems. Do not get stuck. Bye.